Thank you. Good afternoon. As I reflect on the extraordinary 2 days that we've had the opportunity to share with one another, I'm struck by the enduring power of meaningful partnership. And as we look to the future, it will be my pleasure to introduce one of Voice's newest and most exciting partners from the Performing Arts Center, affectionately known as the PAC. Following the attacks on September 11th, a comprehensive citizen planning process provided input for the rebuilding of the 16-acre site. And in September of 2003, the master plan for the World Trade Center designated the property on the corner of Fulton and Greenwich Street as the location for a performing arts center. The PAC will present and produce theater, music, dance, film, and chamber opera, and is scheduled to open in the fall of 2023. Today, we are thrilled to have representatives from the PAC here with us to unveil more about this incredibly beautiful and accessible building and the talented performers who will grace its stages. In a moment, you will meet my friends, Bill Rauch, the PAC's Artistic Director, and Jenna Chrisphonte, the PAC's Director of Civil Alliances.
Wonderful. Again, Bill and I are so honored to have received an invitation from Mary, Stephanie, Leanne, inviting the Performing Arts Center to join you here today. We know that 21 years you've been working, you've been meeting, you've been holding conversations, and we are incredibly honored to sort of give a sneak peek in sort of the work that we're working so hard in developing for our inaugural calendar to share with New Yorkers and communities to come.
Yeah, and I just want to add that we are humbled and honored, and as a small way of expressing how meaningful it is to us to be with you today. This is the first ever, what Ty just did, and one more piece of music that you'll hear at the end of our brief session is the first ever public performance of the Performing Arts Center. And it feels so appropriate that our very first performance is with all of you.
Absolutely. If you look at the slide right now, where you see the Purple Heart, we really are on the World Trade Center campus. Right now, if you come out right now, you can see that the actual marble structure is fully underway. It's visible to everyone to see. If you take a look at the next slide.
This is our origin story, which Leanne just shared with you, and it's very, very meaningful to us, again, to be with you today. Because the PAC has really been built to celebrate life, to affirm community, and we take that responsibility very, very seriously. And
in our work, specifically, some questions have been asked. Well, why does New York City need a new performing arts center? Some people have said that. They've asked the question, and what we always take the time to share is that the Performing Arts Center is here to create connections by cultivating bonds between extraordinary artists and communities with exemplary performances and active dialogue across the arts in our flexible, intimate spaces, inviting conversations and new relationships. And, our art and our audiences reflect the dynamic energy of all 5 boroughs of New York City. Our work asks all of us to consider and embrace the complexities of our society. Together, we welcome the entire world because the PAC is where the world trades ideas.
If I were to distill all of that into 2 words, I would say civic healing. That's what we're here to do. As Jenna said, our building is, of course, under construction. You can see that it is a respectful marble cube. It was designed by Joshua Ramos to be appropriately sober and respectful. When you go inside the building, what's remarkable about this marble is that it is very thinly sliced and it is translucent. So the sunlight, even on a cloudy day, the marble glows in this extraordinary way that feels quite sacred and very beautiful. And then at night, the building is lit from within. Custom industrial chandeliers light all the interior hallways so that the building glows from within. So the building was designed to be a true beacon of hope.
And what we're especially proud of is that our steps really allow us to welcome everyone. If you don't have $1, if you don't have a friend, if you don't have a ticket, you know, our stairs, yes, some people during the day or on the weekends, whenever they'd be free, we can welcome people to sit in for a while. But the actual entryway, when you go into the lobby, we are allowing and creating an environment where communities can come, sit, meet, have coffee, talk. Because here, if you see where it says the public level, that entire level is free and open to the public.
We'll have a restaurant, an outdoor terrace, and Jenna will talk more about this level. This just gives you an overview of coming in. You can see the restaurant, and then when you go through the restaurant, there's an outdoor terrace on the north side of the building, which is going to be quite extraordinary.
And something that we're especially honored to present to not only the Lower Manhattan community, but to New York City as a whole, is our lobby stage, where we will be inviting emerging artists, retirees. You know, one example that we have right across the street, you know, the Borough of Manhattan Community College is right across the street from the PAC. It's the only college in the country to have been a victim of terrorism. You know, their president, Dr. Anthony Monroe, yes, he's an academic, but, you know, he was in his high school band team. He played clarinet for years. But our lobby stage, because it is free and open to the public, right now our team is creating a way that we can invite people to share their songs, their dances, their poems in such a way, and we hope, you know, to welcome members of Voices and the 9/11 community, families, you know, first responder survivors, to really contact us and reach out to us so we can find ways that they can share their, you know, their creative and performing arts with our larger community.
When you head upstairs, there are 3 different theaters. I'm sorry, I forgot a few other images. Yeah, there's the restaurant that I referred to. And the outdoor terrace, I think, is the next. You can see the outdoor terrace through the glass, and then one more image of the terrace itself in the evening. The
theaters themselves.
Theaters themselves, thank you, upstairs. So as you can see, they're relatively intimate when they're 3 separate theaters. There's the Duke, the Nichols, and the Zuccotti are their names. But what's quite remarkable is that those purple areas that are labeled scene dock, there are giant garage doors that are the entire walls of those theaters that go up so the theaters can be combined to create different shapes and become larger. So we can go everywhere from 99 seats up to 1,000+ seats. And the work of art can really dictate what the relationship should be between artist and audience. We've got just a few images. These are just renderings of what the theaters will be like on the inside. And finally, to close our presentation, we want to just share with you one example of each of our 4 primary disciplines. So these are potential projects that we're working on. The first is a music series. We've been thinking a lot about the time of year between the anniversary of September 11th and the United Nations being in General Assembly. And we think a lot about the 93 countries represented and people who lost their lives and our responsibility and our opportunity to do work. So we were talking about doing a music series, perhaps each year, certainly in the first year, called Refuge, that really is about music as a safe space of healing and of joy and of bringing people together.
And another production that we're so honored to work in co-production with Yale Repertory Theater is Between Two Knees. Mr. Ty Defoe, who our flautist this afternoon, he is part of that creative team called 1491, and it really does speak about Native communities, Native nations, Native tribes working together, and they created this beautifully witty, smart, funny musical, really asking questions and telling jokes. Some have compared them to sort of a Native American Monty Python. And it's just a really wonderful, exciting community, and we're so excited to bring that.
So that's an example of theater. And then you're going to talk about this
one?
one?
Yes, and all together now. The other thing that we're so excited to do, because of the way that this space is, we're inviting different choreographers to work together to create really new opportunities. So with this one, it'd be Anna B. Parson with a big dance company, Donna Uchizono, and Tendai Kumba. I don't know if you're familiar, but in the past they've worked with David Burns on Broadway, and just different ways, the way that they would bring women together. And here, coming from David Burns' American Utopia, this would integrate or ask questions about how choreography itself would bring 40 to 50 different women dancers of all physical types and different ages to create this really new and exciting work together. And that's something that we're exploring as a team.
And last but in no way least, we will also do chamber opera. This is an opera that is a potential project, An American Soldier by the composer Huang Ro, and the libretto is by David Henry Huang. An American Soldier tells the story of Danny Chen, who is a first-generation young man who lived in Manhattan's Chinatown. And he actually inspired by the events of 9/11. He wanted to serve his country, and he joined the army and was stationed in Afghanistan. Sadly, he died tragically, and these artists have created a very, very moving opera about his life.